This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Monday, the 4th day of March in the year 2019. Here's what we're tracking tonight. The union representing workers attached to the Rusal Bauxite Company, as well as officials of the Guyana Trades Union Congress, have indicated that the Berbice River area close to the mining site will remain blocked as part of a protest against the Russian-owned company. President of the Guyana Trades Union Congress, Coretta MacDonald, today said officials of the company have refused to engage with union representatives because the union delegation includes GTUC General Secretary Lincoln Lewis.
But they're asking that the river be unblocked because, of course, they're spending $1 million a day. You know, it's very disgusting that they're paying $1 million a day and they're not prepared to pay those workers. 17 days would have passed. So you multiply 17 by 1 million, you know how much they've been spending. But they're not prepared to use those same monies to pay the workers. They're still offering 1%. And they're not prepared to meet with the union because Lincoln Lewis is there.
Do you support the removal of the block?
Well, the union is clear. We will continue to block the river until the Russians decide that they're going to recognize the union and they're going to sit to talk with the representatives of the union, regardless of whether it's Lincoln Lewis, Leslie Gonzalez, Coretta MacDonald, or whoever is there representing the union.
The Department of Labor summoned the unions and the Rusal company to a meeting this morning. However, the Rusal officials refused to be part of the meeting because of the presence of Lincoln Lewis, who has been at the forefront of calls for the company to be held more accountable for the way it treats its workers. The Department of Labor held a separate short meeting with the Rusal representatives before meeting with the union representatives separately. MacDonald said she believes it was disrespectful for the company to decide who it wants as part of a union delegation. She said the Department of Labor should not have met with the company separately.
Since 2009, there was no collective agreement in place. There are lots and lots of matters that are still pending. And so the union's position is we need to sit at the table, workers' representative and management, iron out our issues, after which we will move to the next step. And they're not prepared to do that.
GTUC General Secretary Lincoln Lewis said he will not be recusing himself from any meeting with the company.
Why should I? The next thing the Russians will do is to tell us who must be president of this country. I'm not prepared to do that. I'm not prepared to do it. Recluse? For what? Anybody can tell them to recluse themselves?
The Chief Labor Officer Charles Ogle said the meetings will continue and he is hoping for an amicable end.
Listen, Minister has to brief the senior counterpart and then we'll have an interview with the press.
Is it close to being resolved?
I should think so.
What basis?
They're going to put their proposals in black and white by the end of the day. And we'll discuss them.
So what's up with that?
No, they're going to put it in black and white.
The Rusal company has suspended its operations in Guyana and has blamed the strike action for that decision. Rusal has been coming under mounting criticism from the government of Guyana and a backlash from the trade unions over its decision to fire 6-1 workers because of a strike action. Since then, the workers and the residents of the Berbice River location have blocked the riverway to prevent barges from going to pick up bauxite at the operations. The company claims it has been losing up to $1 million per day because of the river block protest. More news coming up in just a moment.
GBTI is your Guyanese bank, a bank that understands every customer's unique needs, opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. At GBTI, we see you for you. Whether you're buying a new home or car, planning your next vacation or retirement, saving for your child's future, or whether you're ready to take that bold step of investing in your dream business idea, we are with you every step of the way. We hear your stories and watch you focus on your dreams as we share your aspirations. We are more than just banking. We are a family. We are part of your community. Our commitment extends way beyond the walls of our branches and is demonstrated every day in the opportunities we provide to our individual and business customers. The support, time, and commitment we give back to communities across Guyana to help improve the lives of our Guyanese families. Because we see Guyana through your eyes.
Yo, why you gotta get away with this credit, boy? I went to that time for blah blah, let me actually gain. But if not you gonna buy back the credit when it's done, buy back like a shit money from five. Fab 5?
Activate the GTT Fab 5 plan today. For only 5,005, you get free unlimited calls to 4 of your closest family and friends, 5 gigs of data plus 250 text messages, and your Fab 5 friends can call you for free. GTT Fab 5.
Wait. So who we putting as we Fab 5?
Yours.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Welcome back. General Secretary of the Guyana Trades Union Congress, Lincoln Lewis, believes it is time for the impasse with the Rusal Bauxite Company to go to arbitration. Speaking to reporters today after a meeting with officials of the Labor Department, Mr. Lewis said the minister should invoke provisions of the labor laws and force the union and the Rusal to go to arbitration.
It can be under 4C of Chapter 9801 because you have all the conditions there. The river's been blocked. It's creating a crisis in the Upper Bobris River, right? The minister can use that to appoint arbitration tribunal. And under the collective labor agreement, it says that either party can request the matter to go to arbitration.
Lewis said the union is prepared for the arbitration process as it does not intend for the workers to continue facing many of the same problems that they have been complaining about. Rusal has refused to hold any engagement with the unions, especially with Lewis as part of the union delegation.
Let the minister and the Labor Department call them in and say, look here, the union is requesting under the collective labor agreement arbitration, and let us have it. We are prepared now to facilitate the process to have it put in place. They don't want to have us deal with arbitration. They got to open the books. They got to talk with the union. We got to do that, right? Don't bring no nonsense to us and tell me reinstatement. Are we sending back people under those conditions, right? I want to tell you something. Them come and meet me here, they gotta go and left me, man. They got no way.
The Rusal standoff has now entered its third week. The company is coming under fire over its decision to fire 61 workers and threatening to fire another 30 because they started a strike action against a 1% increase in their salaries. Well, let's tell you now that despite a call by the opposition-nominated members of the Guyana Elections Commission for a full withdrawal of all the advertisements related to house-to-house registration, the Guyana Elections Commission is pushing ahead with the process. Public Relations Officer at GCOM, Yolanda Ward, told News Source today that the Elections Commission had voted by a majority to move ahead with its 2019 work plan, and that plan involves house-to-house registration. Ms. Ward said the ads are part of the initial process for house-to-house registration, and the implementation of the process must proceed. The Guyana Elections Commission started to run ads in the local newspapers over the weekend, advertising a number of vacant positions for the house-to-house registration process. In a statement on Sunday, the opposition-nominated commissioners dispatched a press release through the opposition party. In that release, they called for the ads to be withdrawn, claiming the commission has not taken a decision to commence house-to-house registration, and as a consequence, the advertisements are perplexing. Commissioners Seizkan Raj, Bibi Shadiq, and Robeson Ben said that despite their repeated requests, both within the Commission and publicly, for the Secretariat to commence preparations for the conduct of elections, no step has been taken in that regard. The Guyana Elections Commission has already stated that elections will not take place in this month, and it will need more than 140 days to fully prepare for elections. That preparation process for elections could only get started on the instructions of the Commission. The Commission has not yet made that determination, as its chairman is getting set to hold discussions and consultations with President David Granger on the elections process and all that might be needed. A minibus driver is likely to face charges following the death of 2 women in a tragic accident on Sunday morning. The 2 women, who were both vendors in the border market area, died tragically yesterday in that minibus accident at Success on the east coast of Demerara. 5 other persons remain hospitalized with various injuries. 58-year-old Denise Cully of Vigilance and 59-year-old Patricia Ellis of Haslington were passengers of the Route 44 minibus heading to the city when the tragedy occurred. The bus was reportedly speeding at the time when the driver lost control, resulting in the bus being pitched into the median of the 4-lane road currently under construction. The driver claimed that a car collided with his left rear wheel, and that was the reason for him losing control. But eyewitnesses said it was as if the bus was racing along the newly paved roadway, which is still under construction. The impact of the bus slamming into the median sent a number of the passengers pitching onto the roadway, including the 2 women who died. It was a gruesome scene as blood was splattered everywhere and the bodies of the 2 women laid motionless. The driver has been taken into police custody and an investigation is on the way. Family members said they want justice.
But when I come, they tell me the bus went speeding and wireless and all them things. But it's everyday thing with bus, you understand? With speeding, you don't know when a bus does speed till an accident. If I just sit down in the bus is speed, nobody don't say nothing.
But the driver get on a nice little white jersey, not a scratch, nor nothing, and me sister they pick up with body parts. This is how they pick up my sister.
Speeding remains the leading cause of road accidents in Guyana, and road accidents are the leading cause of death in Guyana. Now to the police blotter. Police investigators are continuing their probe of the shooting death of a suspected bandit in the Case Diamond Enterprise building on Thomas Street here in Georgetown. The dead man has been identified as 25-year-old miner Henry Johannesson. However, no relative has yet stepped forward to claim the body. 3 men who the police suspect might have been his accomplices were arrested not too far away from the building. They remain in custody. The owner of the business claims that a young miner had contacted him earlier in the day to sell some diamonds to him. He claims that when the young man arrived, he asked to use the washroom and emerged from the washroom area with a gun drawn, warning the owner not to move. The owner said he reached for his gun and opened fire on the armed man, hitting him 3 times to the upper body. He later contacted the police. The 3 men on the outside were reportedly unaware of what had taken place inside the building, and they were arrested as the police arrived on the scene. Police investigators said they found a 9mm pistol with matching rounds in the building. Police investigators also say a thorough probe is being done, as a number of questions have been raised about the shooting incident and the business owner's version of what took place. In the courts right now, 2 serving members of the Guyana Police Force along with 2 other men were charged today in connection with bird smuggling. The 4 were granted bail in the sum of $100,000 each after facing the charge of smuggling birds through the Georgetown airport. The court was told that all 4 accused are without the requisite permission for wildlife export. The 4 men, 31-year-old Prem Rajram, 40-year-old Gregory Ramkelawan, and police officers 23-year-old Alex Haywood and 35-year-old Denzel Williams, all stood before the chief magistrate and denied the allegations made against them. It is alleged that between the 1st of November and the 8th of December last year at the Georgetown airport, the 4 men conspired with each other and persons unknown to export a quantity of birds without the authorization of the Guyana Wildlife Conservation and Management Commission or the competent authority. Court records further revealed that the police officers who were stationed at the airport obtained a sum of $600,000 from one of the other 2 accused to allow the illegal export of the birds through the airport. Court records further revealed that the police officers who were stationed at the airport reportedly obtained a sum of $600,000 from one of the other 2 accused to allow the illegal export of the birds through the airport. After listening to the facts of the case, bail was granted by the chief magistrate and the 4 men were told to return to court later this week for the continuation of the case. Across the region is coming up next.
As a luxury mechanic, I'm often asked, what gas should I use in my expensive vehicle? In other countries, you have regular and mid-grade gasoline known as 87, 89, and premium gasoline known as octane 93 to 95. For affordable, high-quality fuel, performance, and high mileage, visit Guy Oil today. Choose Guy Oil Super 95. Guy Oil, we are everywhere.
Get ready to ride it, ready to ride it, ride it, ride it, ride it, ride it, ride the wave. Open up the new vibe, drink up the boldness inside. Radical and fresh and wild, catch the wave now. Ride bold, ride fresh, ride strong, come on, ride the wave. Taste the action, satisfaction, perfection. Wave, 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 wave,
Ride the new wave of excitement sweeping Guyana. Wave Pale Ale, a premium, full-bodied, strong and refreshing alcoholic brew, crafted to perfection for a bold, young, radical you. Don't settle for anything less. Catch a Wave Pale Ale and ride it today.
Wave Pale Ale.
Crafted to perfection.
Across the region right now, in neighboring Venezuela, the country's self-declared interim leader Juan Guaido has arrived back in the country's capital of Caracas, where he risks arrest. TV footage showed him being received at the Simon Bolivar International Airport by diplomats from the US and EU nations. Outside the airport, he greeted a crowd of supporters who chanted his name. Mr. Guaido defied a travel ban when he left Venezuela last month. He visited a number of Latin American countries in an attempt to get international aid into the country and to secure support from regional leaders. He has called on President Nicolas Maduro to resign and has urged Venezuelans to join anti-government protests planned for today and tomorrow. Thousands of flag-waving supporters have answered his call. Over in Trinidad and Tobago, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley will leave tomorrow for the United States, where he will undergo a series of heart tests and observations. He will be attended to at a health facility in California. His medical leave of absence will be indefinite, as it would determine whether he would have to undergo any immediate procedures to treat and deal with the issue. This was disclosed by the Prime Minister himself during a media conference yesterday. Mr. Rowley said that back in 2016, amid several tests for prostate cancer, he also subjected himself to a coronary test that revealed a soft plaque in one of his arteries. The 69-year-old indicated that a second test done in 2017 revealed that it appeared much bigger. He said when he was initially tested, he changed his diet and lifestyle a bit. However, the issue progressed, and it is now at a stage where it needs further medical attention. And finally tonight, international news. Rescue teams in the eastern U.S. state of Alabama have resumed search operations a day after two tornadoes caused extensive damage to buildings and roads. At least 23 people are known to have died in Lee County, some of them children, with the youngest believed to have been 6 years old. There are fears that the death toll will rise. Dozens of people were hurt. The sheriff of Lee County, Jay Jones, told the media there that the devastation caused by the winds was incredible. A statewide state of emergency is in operation, with resources from across the state pouring into the affected area. Drones with infrared capability are being used in an attempt to find survivors. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting.